Thank you, Laura. Hello, everyone. Be very nervous, dark. How much you have this slide? Right. So we have two vice president communities candidates with us today. Siobhan Douglas and Dahil Raywa. I'll be starting up with the formal Q&A session with them. And then if we have more time, we'll also get an opportunity to ask questions at time. Right. Let's start. First question is, what makes you the best candidate for the role of Vice President Communities? Starting from...
Okay. I just want to say thank you for this opportunity to speak in front of everyone and just let you know why I believe I should be your next Vice President Communities. I believe that my experiences and my background in fostering inclusivity and a welcoming student environment as student representative throughout my time at Aston University uniquely positions me as someone who has a track record of speaking on behalf of and amplifying student voices. I believe that it's one of the most important things that students can have at university is a voice to share what's important to them and to be uplifted, and so that we can all move forward together, united and happy with what is happening at our university. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. Mr. Dahil Raywa.
Thank you. Thank you, Shiva. Thank you for giving me the opportunity again. I would start with saying that out of all the humbleness in the world, I was privileged to be the first Vice President of Communities for Boston Students Union. That gave me a very broad outlook that community is not only what we think in terms of the students coming into campus, on the campus, in terms of course, we focus a lot on equality, diversity and inclusion. That's the most important part. But communities is such a broad term. Not only the students studying here, but the students have passed out as well. Because in the end, we want an inclusive community of students who have studied here and are passing out. And there is no restriction in communities. And over the period of time, I've understood that fact, which gives you a broader perspective at how many people you can accommodate, and different type of people you can accommodate. Thank you.
Right. Moving on, you can answer the next question. Second question, very broad question. So try to be concise. What does inclusivity mean to you?
So, inclusivity is an extension to equality and diversity. Because you can only be inclusive if you focus on equality and diversity, personally. And when you go out on our campus, when you go out, and when you greet people, and they give you a smile back, that is I believe it's crucial when it comes to inclusivity, because you're showing people that you belong here. You belong here to where we are standing here, we're representing you. And when you focus on equality and diversity, inclusivity automatically comes into the picture because it's just an extension to that.
That's the question? Okay. I actually have a few notes on this because inclusivity is something that's quite important to me. So I'm just going to pull these up now. So inclusivity to me, it transcends just diversity. It's essentially an embodiment of a culture where every single individual feels valued, respected, and empowered to contribute their unique perspectives. Drawing from my personal experiences, such as my involvement as a student representative, as well as my international placement year, I understand the importance of creating spaces where everyone's voice is not only heard but actively embraced. Inclusivity is about fostering a sense of belonging, breaking down barriers, and not only acknowledging but actively including individual students and everyone in the decision-making process. It's a commitment to celebrating differences, promoting equity, and building a community where every member feels seen and heard. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. Moving on. Students have been facing issues with accommodation. How do we ensure that the student voice is being heard in respect to the issues around accommodations? Okay.
This is an incredibly important topic because when you come to study, you need to feel comfortable and you need to feel safe in where you're living and laying your head down every night. I know that if I didn't have security in my accommodation, I would feel just not very well placed to come in and be my best self at university. So I think it's incredibly important, and it's a very sad thing that students have been facing problems with accommodation. So to address this topic, what I would do is I would set up town halls where students can come as a collective and then greet with managers and hires up at the different accommodation associations. So I know that students have particularly maybe had problems with kind of Unite students. I think there's UGO students as well. That's another one of the buildings. So I think that what they can do is bring students together to actually speak face to face with the people and look them in their eyes and ask them why things are going wrong.
Thank you. Do you want to repeat the question?
Yes, please.
Okay. Students have been facing issues with accommodation. How do you ensure that the student voice is being heard around the accommodation issues?
So recently, being the first VP Communities, in February I established a new volunteer position called the Hall Reps, because considering the fact that accommodation are not owned by our university or a union building, right? They're owned by companies outside belonging. So these Hall Reps are in place so that they can take the issues, they can collect the issues of the students and then pass it on to the union building, to the union, and then we can solve these issues, because sometimes these students individually can't solve them issues. And this year we'll develop a feedback loop where students will come into picture. They will say what are their feedbacks, and also I've been part of the membership. I'm a member of Birmingham IIG advisory group, and from she has committed that she's going to meet the VP communities every month, so that the student safety can be a priority, and we can discuss what safety policies can we ensure that students students feel safe in the accommodation building with the help of the Hall Reps appointed.
Thank you, Tarek. Now, the last question from my end is, as the student population is so diverse, one of the reasons why I introduced this talk, how do you ensure that different communities at Aston be represented, heard, and seen?
Well, events are very important, different type of events catering to different type of population, meaning the demographics we have certainly. But at the same time, I believe that representing that diverse community, I feel that coming into the picture, being there in the events, being there in front, greeting them, saying them the basic things, how are you doing, what are you doing? You spoke about diversity, right? Yeah. So I believe that these small things, I think, will play a bigger picture towards the end. Because if you see, we have the most diverse population in Aston. The Aston community is very big, and sometimes they are not catered to well. But in terms of any example I gave of the Hall Reps as well, when in different volunteer positions, if you can include different people coming from different groups, when they come together and and discuss their problems, we're allowing people from different backgrounds to come to have one goal, to one objective for the Aston community.
Thank you, Tarek. You want me to read the question? Okay. As the students' population is so diverse, and not the reason why we introduce 5% communities only, how do you ensure that different communities at Aston be represented, heard, and seen?
I think that's an incredibly important thing. Everyone feeling seen and heard, so it's a great question. I think something that can be continued, that's already happening at the university, are specific background groups, specific identity groups. I think those are really good, but I think it's about, as I spoke about just now, is actually going and speaking to these groups and asking them, what do you need? Because sometimes I think the students don't necessarily realise or don't understand that we want to know what they need. because without knowing what students need, the experience is going to be subpar. That's just a fact. That's just what would happen. So I think just letting them know that speaking up is encouraged, it is what we want to hear, it's what we want to know what they want, and then different events and just being around, interacting, encouraging these different student groups, because yes, there's diversity, but we also want people to come together and understand what makes them similar as well as different. We want people to understand that just because you're different from someone doesn't mean that you can't understand where they're coming from. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody in the audience have any question? Anybody question? Tom, very quickly.
Okay, just speak here.
Yeah. How do you do that here?
So as being Vice President of Communities, going into next year, communities of LGBT and disabled students are not going to be represented currently in the student union as no one is in their elections. What is your plan to help support these groups where there's no voluntary officer?
Well, that's a very good point, Tristan. Well, when you spoke about diversity, the first thing which I mentioned in the first statement is going and speaking to the people. I think that's the most important thing. First of all, for me, from just generally from my nature and everything, I would go and speak to them what they need in the first place. Before actually knowing what they need in the first place, I would never take a step. Because sometimes, without doing certain things, without knowing what they need, can actually create more problems. Because sometimes you go take a wrong step. In a good intention though, you have a good intent, but take a wrong step, which can actually have a ripple effect. So the first thing is that speaking to things, now for example you mentioned that we don't have, this year we don't have the offices, right, for them. But just by knowing them and what they need, maybe we can create that group of people, maybe the voluntary groups, we have so many voluntary groups, and then we can serve them as well. Maybe we can, that's how representation we can create. So yeah.
Thank you, Tom, for your question. I believe your question was specifically about the disabled communities and the LGBT community. I want to say those words because it's important to be specific when addressing individual communities. I think that diversity and inclusion can feel very general sometimes. It can feel very wishy-washy and just, oh, we're inclusive, but what does that mean? It means going to each individual specific community and saying what's going on. I know that the university has an LGBT society, so whilst there isn't going to be a voluntary officer position, I know that there are a group of students who actively want to advocate for themselves or to advocate for their needs. So I would immediately start by going and starting some consultations and asking what needs to be addressed for the individual communities, the disabled communities and the LGBT communities. Thank you.
Thank you, Shravan. That's it from the Vice President Communities. Thank you so much, both of you, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you so much.
Thank you also, and thank you both of people. Can I now invite the Vice President Education candidate, please? As there's 6 of 7 candidates, would you guys mind introducing yourself? That's okay.
Starting with me,
Yeah.
What do we introduce? Like a name?
Just your name and just your name, basically.
Okay, hi everyone, my name's Juliana Mohammed Noor.
Hi everyone, my name is Ifat and I'm a second year Lawton.
Hi guys, myself Daniel Roxley and I'm doing Masters in Business Analytics here.
Hi everyone, my name is Afia and I'm second year business student.
Hi everyone, I'm Alex from Human Resource Management Masters.
Hi, my name is Tracy and I'm a second year law student.
Cool. Thanks everyone. So we do start with the first question. So the first question is, what makes you the best candidate for the role of Vice President Education? Can I have Juliana answer it?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Okay, so hello everyone. There are copies of my manifesto on your seats just to learn more about me as a VPE candidate. So essentially, I was elected 3 times by the student movement, twice at the college where I studied in Liverpool and once at NUS representing 4.5 million students at the national level. I worked and led on impactful campaigns like widening participation, students not suspects, decolonising the curriculum and addressing student poverty. I also recognised the importance of well-being and its direct impact on addressing academic performance. As a result, I have a strong understanding of education and issues and how they work, which can add value to Aston SU if I'm elected. So if you trust me to lead the Students' Union, just like other students have trusted me before, then vote for me number 1 as VP Education. But if you prefer to vote other candidates sitting next to me, then I would appreciate your 2nd, 3rd, or even your 3rd and 4th vote, because those extra little votes can really make a difference when the election results are announced. Thank you.
Alright, hi guys, my name is Isabel, and the reason why I believe that I'm a good fit for as a candidate is because, first of all, I've been elected to represent the Aston students at the NUS conference this year, and I believe like all the training and all the research that goes into learning about the NUS and learning about their policies and what changes that they are able to make, that's enhanced my understanding of student issues. And aside from that, I've also been working really closely this year with the Student Union by being a member of ASSET and knowing like what the students want and what the students need, and learning about the issues and basically the problems that students face when dealing with both the SU and the university. I also have attended both Union Council and Union Senate meetings, and again, those are platforms where you can really understand what the issues that students are facing. And so yeah, I believe I have a really good understanding and I feel like I can really make good changes. So yeah, thank you.
Hi, myself, Andy Norman. I feel like I am right fit for this position because of my experience over here. I was working as a stenographer, I was working as a horror, Aston and mentoring peer mentoring as well. With all this experience, what I came to know about Aston is that there's a lot of scope for improvement over here in education. Even though Aston is doing very well, but there are still scope for improvement. Nothing is just, there's always scope for improvement. With my chats with my current students and also the generally bad students, where I was acting as a mentor for them, I came to know about the struggles they are facing, the concerns they have, and the scope for improvement that they are suggesting to me. As my tagline says, from feedback to friend, like shaping education together. What I am looking forward to and looking forward to is getting to know more about people and getting feedbacks from them. For that, I will share Google form in my Instagram handle where everyone is open and it's open for everyone. And they can come up with their suggestions or concerns they have, and I will be solving that for them. Thank you.
So I have seen firsthand around not just the SU but the university as well about the issues that's been happening. I think I'm fit for this role because there's lots of differences that I want to make to the environment. So there's some issues with like personal tutors not engaging with their students from first year. I want to make sure that there are mandatory sessions put into place from first year so that students are able to engage with their personal tutors more. Another difference I want to make is I want to make sure that the student rep system is more in place. I want to make sure that student reps know what they are doing and they have this feedback that they can go to. I want to make sure that students have this more clear understanding about how everything works, and I want to put into a system where they have this one contact where they can go to and it's more easier for them to communicate with. Because right now there's lots of issues with them because they don't know what their role is and they don't know what their purpose is for. And another difference I want to make is I want to make sure that students are able to enable the preview module assessments before their exam so they can see what options they have, and that will provide them with more opportunities.
Yeah, so I'm Alex. So as I always said, I'm also a student rep and I'm also a HR executive at Aston, and apart from that, I'm also an asset member for the Students' Union. So why I want to join for this role is because I heard that the undergrads or placement years, they do not have a lot of opportunities. So do we have the asset SU? So I prefer that there can be some internship opportunities or placement opportunities at the Students' Union. And I also feel that we also have some professional societies, cultural societies. So I would prefer that some placement should
is Tracy, and the reason why I believe I'm a fit candidate for this position is that I was a student at a predominantly white school when I was in secondary school, and we saw how different there was such a big gap between how our white counterparts perform in comparison to us, and that's still an issue in university as well. And because once we found that out, we created a community. It wasn't like an actual recognized community in the school, but it was something that we created for ourselves to support each other and ask for additional help where needed, so that we were able to perform at the standard that our white counterparts were performing at. It wasn't just black people, it was Asian people and minority groups. Through that experience, I learned how much there still is, how much improvement we still need as students, and especially because Aston is such a diverse community. I think that's something that we need in the university as well.
Thank you, everyone. Just one technical reminder, don't hold your mic too close to your mouth when you speak, that's all. Not like specific anyone, it's just in general, every single candidate afterwards. So, the second question is, what idea would you bring to the current student rep system? We'll start with Ifa. Sorry, pass the mic.
Alright, so currently I think the new idea that I would bring to the current student rep system is, first of all, I would include in-person training as well as online training, because I feel like online training, people tend to delay it a lot. And so, I feel like in-person training, it will be more interactive, and also student reps will have the opportunity to really in-person ask what they think that this role requires them to do, learn more about what this role is all about, and just understand how they can be more engaged. Also, another idea that I would include is just to utilize student reps in much more different ways, give them much more opportunities, and just give them opportunities to learn different methods of feedback, rather than letting them do it themselves and find ways. So thank you. Yep.
What I feel about the student rep system is that there's a scope of improvement. There's a lot of scope of improvement in the student rep system. There's a lack of training that currently works properly. It's not there's a lack of training that is provided from the students inside. So I wish to give more training to the student rep. That means giving a structured information to them beforehand. They are planning to join the student rep system by maybe making them aware about even before they are coming to the Aston. I came to know about the student rep system before coming here, so I'll be making them aware about what student rep exactly, who they have to report, how they can help the students of their coursemate or as a university as a general. By giving them proper training and giving a proper structure to the student rep system, I think there's a lot of scope of improvement more that we can make together.
So I already touched on this before, but to kind of go into more depth, I believe there's up to 500 to 600 student reps. And in order to manage all of them, we need a system which we can put into place where all students have a contact that they can contact as soon as they have an issue. So maybe providing a feedback loop or something that makes that gives them direct contact and they can get help from as soon as possible. And also think also giving them more opportunities and providing training and maybe putting on online resources for them to help with specific issues, because they're obviously not trained. So training them in a way that makes it easier for them as well. Thank you.
So I'm already a student rep. So what I currently face is that regarding the timetable, because I have classes every day. So I asked my program director that could this be changed and everything, but they said that it is impossible. So what I would bring a change that before every term would be really helpful that the student rep have the access on deciding whether the term is right and not before it can be approved, and then bring in more opportunities, and then obviously there has to be a point of contact, but initially those point of contact is the program directors, but it's kind of very difficult for us. And Visual has all of them said, proper training is very efficient, and also we have only SSC meetings only once per term, but I would prefer that there has to be monthly SSC meetings so that we can really help.
I think that What I've realized by talking to different students, specifically first year students and specifically law students, is that lots of first year students don't know what they're supposed to do as for assessments and things like that, because the change from A levels or college is so different from what we are expected to do in university. So I think I would address that and try to create some change. And as well, I've spoken to lots of international students who believe that they haven't performed as well because they feel like they haven't had a sense of community in the university because they are so far away from home. So I try to address that as well, try to help them create a community in university, so that, because mental health is such a big part of performing well as well. So yeah, I think that's what I'll do.
Now, this is a really interesting question because I don't actually know what the current student rep system looks like, but what I do know is what it means to be a student rep. And even us as officers, we too are student reps, because that's what it means to be a student rep, right? A student representative. We were elected to represent students. So if elected, I would have to assess the rep system and keep the things that we are doing well and improve the ones we aren't doing so well on. That's by getting feedback from focus groups and student surveys, which is something that Adora has done before, and is essentially bringing that forward, moving forward and bringing it to life, as well as connecting with other students' unions and universities in the UK to adopt their good practices to improve our student rep system here at Aston SU. This way of working has been something I have done in my previous roles as a student officer and has worked. So as a result, improving student experience, which is collectively our aim as a students' union and as student reps.
Thank you, everyone. And for the third question that we have is, how will you ensure to maintain a good working relationship with relevant university staff? We'll start with Anthony.
In the current staff system, I don't know how the staff system is working right now. I'll be getting more about when I'll be getting to know more about it. And what I'll be doing is that in every system there's need of communication, feedback, organization. So what I'll be doing is that introducing a system where everyone can trust. Obviously that will be there, but I will be making sure that it will be more acceptable and more widely they are aware about a system like this, so they can search whatever they want, and generally I will be able to know what is the current problem they are having, or is there any scope of improvement. And with my experience with the students, as I mentioned earlier, when I was working as a student rep, and all of the experience I said earlier, I know what students need from their professors, what they are expecting. So I will look forward to them, and considering what they are coming forward, I will come up with some solutions that is feasible.
So with making sure that we maintain a good relationship, I think engagement is one of the most important things to make sure that it's consistent with the university and with the union. So that would be with regular meetings, making sure that everything's put into place. I know that lecturers do module feedbacks halfway through the term. So maybe once those module feedbacks are complete, kind of having a discussion with them about what issues they are facing and kind of helping them with that. I think it's important to make sure that we help them in any way that's possible, because with education, it's one of the main priorities that we help the students with what they need. So we need to kind of put into place a system where we don't talk to all the lecturers, because that's really time consuming. So if you can have a contact team that's in the university as well that's able to communicate with us, it would be more faster and more efficient.
So in order to maintain a good relationship with the university staff, so what I currently do is that, instead of giving we have feedback sessions halfway through. So what I do is, every 2 weeks with my class, we talk about some group. So I ask them for feedback, and I also send it to the program director. So by doing that, it really helped me. And also initially we did not have any sample questionnaires or sample answers on how to write the assignments, but right now for all the modules we have, and also like having a good relationship, I would say that speaking to the lecturer after each and every class is really helpful. So there has to be some kind of feedback box session or some kind of platform where we have access to all the lecturers and tutors. So it should be there.
It's already been mentioned by all of the other candidates, but I think the most important thing to ensure that we keep a positive relationship with the staff already is to keep an open line of communication. I think students have a lot to say, and staff are doing the best they can to kind of meet with like all of their students' expectation. So I think that's communication is the most important thing to do. Probably relay all the feedback that I'd receive if I was to be Vice President for Education, relay it back to all of the relevant staff members, and then work together to ensure that it isn't just heard, but it's also like this work towards it as well, so that students don't feel like they're not being listened to, but also staff don't feel like what they're doing isn't enough.
Again, another interesting question. Now, what's great and unique about Aston is that the university and the SU work really well together, and that is reflected in the work that we do. Both of our main focus are students whilst in university and after graduation. Sometimes you may find that there may be tension between the two of them, and I'm sure that's something that has happened in the past. And I guess the best way to do things is to remain consistent with our values, why we do the things we set out to do, putting students first and making sure the work that we do is sustainable, not delivering false promises or set unrealistic goals, because that could lead to a loss of trust from the university in the work that we do as an SU, impact our budgets, which means less funding for students, and not being able to make the changes students elected us to do. So by being consistent and going back to putting students first, then hopefully the relationship will continue, and fingers crossed, to be good, and if not more than good, moving forward.
So I personally believe this is quite a delicate situation when you're dealing with university staff, especially as SU officers. There are certain conflicting priorities. I mean, in general, all of us want to ensure that our students have the best opportunities for them. However, I think that there are certain priorities that are different between the SU and the university staff. I think to deal with that situation, it's important that there's constant communication with the university staff, and that there are relevant people that are communicated with on a regular basis, rather than bombarding just some people with too much information. I think there needs to be a balance of communication, balance of in-person meetings, and at the same time, of course, being respectful of them, being respectful of their time, being respectful of their priorities, but at the same time not letting go of our own priorities as student officers, and ensuring that we are there for our students and for what we want our students to get from the university. So it's definitely like a balance of all of these things. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you all candidates, and I wish you all the best for the rest of the week. Can I now have back Atul and invite the Vice President Student Activity candidate to come up.
Nice. We have Vice President, Student Activities candidates on board now. We're going to ask some really difficult questions. No, let's go ahead. Guys, you know, make sure you encourage all candidates. This environment can be a bit negative now. But in this environment, it's important to cheer each other out and make sure that everybody is doing okay. Right? And for you candidates, it's the opportunity to talk to students, tell how you're feeling. You're getting prepared for it. So don't be bothered that what's going to speak, just speak your heart out. Alright. I'll start with the questions. First question is, what makes you the best candidate for the role of Vice President Student Activities? We'll start from Ashley.
Hello, is that close enough?
Yeah,
great. So as a student who has gotten very involved in the current student activities that Aston has to offer, I feel like I have a very comprehensive understanding of what works well and what could be improved. So I hope to apply this as my role as VP Student Activities to ensure that there's an increase in student engagement and understanding of the opportunities that are available, because that's where I feel like there's that's the biggest area that can be improved, like the lack of understanding of what actually there is to get involved in. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
So many of you probably know me, some of you may not know me. I'm the current community officer and the student representative. The reason why I want to run for this role is because there's a lot of issues with societies and clubs in terms of funding, in terms of engagement and acknowledgement and etc. I feel as other universities you probably see people are always on the social media in terms of the achievements and etc. And I want to bring that through. I want to increase the funding for societies and clubs to ensure they have the right equipment and the right facilities to help in terms of having the right coaches, the right places, and being the right time. And I think that's a big issue. Engagement with disability students and as well with with different backgrounds, ladies as well. Like a lot of the sports are not being looked after for the ladies as well, which is really important. And I think being that experience in the SU and etc., I think I would be well candidate to basically know the next stage, where to go as well, and how to basically facilitate that as well.
Thank you, Rose.
Hi, I'm Avanti. So I think I'm best for the role of student activities because I excel in organization, communication and decision making skills, and I'm dedicated to enhancing the student experience by increasing the number of events and activities. I can ensure fair decisions, and I can make sure that students can reach out to me anytime if they need any assistance. Thank you.
Thank you.
So my name is Saeed. All right. So when I first came to Aston, I was looking for something I was passionate about, a club or a society. When I looked around, I couldn't find it, which made me realize that there is still room for improvement. We need more clubs and societies. And when I wanted to inquire about it, I also couldn't communicate well as to where I should go. So that is another thing. More clubs and societies, better communication. And when I inquired more, I also learned that there are issues with the financial things that the clubs and societies face. So I think I can bring a difference. If I've noticed these problems, I think I can make a difference as well.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, everyone. Moving on to the next question, which will be answered by Batu. So, my second question is, how do you ensure that you provide equal support to both clubs and societies?
At the moment we have something called SAXS, which basically presents different parts of societies and clubs and etc. Which basically these people are to communicate with the clubs and societies individually and get to know what they're missing and what they need. I feel like there's a few issues with the system, which basically contacting the societies and clubs, and I think that's something that we need to try to ensure it by having a regular meetings with them and trying to see where's the issues, how could we resolve it, and how to improve. And I think that's a major thing to look out for as a first stage. Another thing is there's a difference between clubs and societies and different needs, and we need basically to acknowledge that and try to understand that there is a different perspectives and fundings that are needed for each one an individual. And by having those individual meetings, I think that will basically help us to understand make sure the exit meeting can actually follow properly.
I would make sure that I can provide both clubs and societies equal support. I would implement transparent and fair allocation of resources such as funding, event spaces, and promotional opportunities. I will provide training sessions and assistance to the clubs and societies, making sure they can meet their goal. And I will arrange regular checkups and feedback sessions.
Thank you. Sweet.
So the main factor that I think clubs and societies struggle with in terms of support is communication, right? So what I propose is creating a VPSA contact team, which will have students, and this will create a wider network of communication. And each of that student could go and communicate with the clubs and societies and get their issues, whatever it is, and their point of contact would be me. So I'll be having that set up, and that's how I plan it. Thank you.
Ashwin? Thank you.
I think that because the range of societies that we offer are so niche, there again is a lack of awareness from the student perspective in regard to what societies are available. So I think that through more transparency and promotion, societies will be able to get the same support that our clubs do, regardless of their size. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to my next question, which will be answered by Multi. Her question is, what idea will you bring to improve the current volunteering offering at Aston?
I would implement a mentoring program pairing with the experienced volunteers with the newcomers so that they can gain some experience, and I would host regular workshops to the newcomers to increase their volunteer skills and knowledge, and I will collaborate with local organizations to expand the volunteer opportunities, and I can enhance communication channels to keep volunteers informed and engaged. Thank you.
Thank you.
Something that I thought of and I would love to propose is cross-society and clubs collaboration, where two societies or clubs or more could come together and host events, which will also increase engagement, help them connect with each other, and that way they'll have yeah, I think that's all I have. All right.
Thank you. Well,
So as you want to go first?
mathematical is not very good.
It's okay.
We already have programs in place such as the Aston Auntie program and the Asset team, which I think have built a really great foundation in promoting volunteering at Aston. So in my role, I would just like to build on that by creating more events and opportunities where there is an increased chance to volunteer, with incentives such as CV references and free entry to events.
So currently I have been working with different societies to collaborate events, which was a huge thing, and I think it's very important when it comes to involvement and volunteers. For the past 2 years that I've been in the SU, there's a problem with the acknowledgement of volunteers, which I've been bringing a lot lately, which is basically rewards, etc. Acknowledgement, people knowing who they are, where they are, what they're doing. We have a lot of opportunities for volunteers, and I think the fact that we're not promoting it well is an issue which was basically needed. We also need to work in terms of rewarding them for their efforts and work. Some people have some wonderful ideas, wonderful experiences, and they're bringing it up to the SU, but we don't actually reward them, which is a big issue. Like, how do you expect people to volunteer when there are actually no rewards for our outfit, when there's no outcome, no acknowledgement, and people don't know what they're doing? So that's pretty much what I'm looking for, to see more events and more, etc., and also more acknowledgement for the volunteers. So thank you.
Thank you, Lil. Before moving on, I want to give a chance to audience if they have any questions. Please raise your hand if you have any question to the VPSA candidates. There you go.
I guess it would just be following on from the volunteering aspect. How would are you aware of like reasonable adjustments and support for students with mental health and disability with volunteering? Because I feel like that's a big block of people accessing volunteering as well, and like the training for mental health support as well. Because it's quite a big job that a lot of the volunteering roles have at the university and in the SU. So.
There you go. Who's gonna answer? Anybody? One?
I can go. I think, yeah, the disability students is a huge thing in terms of volunteering, accessibility, etc. I think the major thing is working with the well-being and disability officer to understand how to have opportunities that are available for them, and also to ensure that they that we have accessibility for them in terms of how to support them, how to ensure that they're able to volunteer in certain sectors. So, some people may prefer quieter places, events, so maybe we can basically help them with that and encourage them to be involved in these. As well, like with mental well-being, we can put some, if people suffer from mental health, encourage them to volunteer to help them with the mental well-being. I think that's a major thing. And yeah, I think it's a great question. Thank you.
Thank you, Will. Anybody else want to answer the question? Right, thank you. Moving on, the last question is quite an important question for you. So, what do you think are the barriers for students getting involved in club societies, and how are you going to increase that engagement?
So I think I've already spoken about the barriers. One of them is the communication barrier. How the students who actually are passionate about things, they cannot implement what they want. Having a contact team, a BPSA contact team, would be a really big change in this. All right.
Thank you. I get you still this. Yeah.
This is just like one idea that could possibly work, but with Aston we're quite lucky in the sense that we know that the majority of our first year students move into James Watt, William Murdoch, Mary Sturge, so we could possibly do in Freshers Week, we have like a leaflet or a pamphlet that goes out to every single room in the buildings that just has a list of all the events that we do, all the clubs, all the societies, so that every student has an opportunity to understand what is available, because like, again, it's just that lack of like understanding and awareness.
Thank you, Ashley. Bottlenecks next? No.
Could you repeat the question, please?
Yeah. What do you think are barriers for students getting involved in terms of societies?
I think it's really important for students to get involved, but I think it's also regarding the communication as very important, as the others have been said. But also not just communication, is for people to see and to come forward and say what they want to like what can they help with. I think sometimes we put stuff that sometimes students are not interested in, and I think it's really important to do a survey to ask questions where they see themselves, where we are lacking and how to improve. I think as well regarding that, which is a major thing as well, it's volunteering and having information. I think is very important to have a place where we can basically go and students can ask questions, which is something that I've been working on lately, which is to have somewhere at the main building where students just can go and ask questions about what was the volunteers availability and what societies and clubs we can get involved in. I think that's a major good contact with just a place to go for it.
What I think is the communication barrier as well, and also I can reduce the clubs and societies fees so that every student can participate. And what I also think is that we can add more clubs and societies, making sure every people have interest in it. And I can also conduct like checking sessions so that students can tell what their interests are and what clubs and societies they want to do.
Thank you. Well, thank you all of you for all those amazing points and some ideas that you gave us. We wish you all the best and take care of yourself during this. Thank you. The next group that you want to hold is Vice President Welfare. Adore.
For my own benefit, do you guys mind just introducing yourself? Yes,
Sorry, just finishing my time.
Hello everybody, I'm Cassie Allen.
Hey everyone, I'm Karina. I'm a second year psych student.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Faith Njuguna, and Ramadan Mubarak to our friends who are us.
Hello, I'm Alex Lewis, and I'm doing Masters in Future Weaker course. Thank you.
So we'll start with Kirsty first. So the first question is, what made you the best candidate for the role of Vice President Welfare?
I just want to say in advance I've got a bit of a cough at the moment, so if I do cough, I do apologise. So what would make me the best candidate is my experience, my passion, and my knowledge about wellbeing and welfare. So my experience is I am the current Vice President Welfare. I've held a plethora of roles in different committees at Aston, including LGBT Society and Pool and Snooker. My degree was in psychology, and I did a placement at Forward Thinking Birmingham, so I've got relevant experience working and giving out different wellbeing programs for a variety of different people. My passion, I'm dedicated to wellbeing. This is what I want to do with my life. I am committed to providing wellbeing and ensuring quality welfare support for everybody. And my knowledge, as I said, my degree is in psychology, so I've got a background knowing about these kinds of things. I've got a working knowledge of how the SU works and how the university works, and I know what goals are achievable and progressive.
So I'm also a psych student. Like I said, I'm a second year psych student, and so I have the knowledge about welfare through that, and I'm also a volunteer at Birmingham Mind, which is a mental health charity, and I have relevant experience through that, as I've been volunteering there for since last year now, so I have a lot of experience in the welfare sector itself. I'm also doing a lot of volunteering at Aston University. I'm currently a member of the ASSET team, which is acting as a bridge between the students and the SU and the university, and it helps me gain an understanding of the student perspective. And I have a genuine passion for welfare, and I want to give others the opportunity to sort of share that passion for welfare as well through volunteering experiences.
So I believe in passion. And just like my name is Faith, and Faith is to believe. So I believe in the supremacy of our welfare in everything that we do. And also I served in my previous student union as a welfare officer in charge of just ensuring that the students, their needs are met, their needs are assessed. And then I try to be approachable. I try to smile, not like the weird kind of smile, like a good smile. And I think that's also important to know that your leaders are there, that they are approachable, it's people that you can see for whatever it is that you need. And my last point would be, leadership is about action. It's not really about position. And so I just commend everyone who sat at this table, because taking that step forward already, you.
Okay, if you ask about the question that if I'm the best for this post or not, I have to introduce myself that I'm a student rep for my course, and secondly, I'm planning to do the PhD, in which I got it for the Aston. And when I talk about Aston, I can feel a distance between Aston and student, which I want to reduce. And I think that if I get this post, I will try my best to reduce the distance, what I feel. Because when I talk to my teachers and all their kind, they have feel that there is a huge gap which have to be filled. And mostly the gap, if I talk about, is a mental health, which my friends and most of my colleagues are facing because of the assignment of the exams and each and everything. So I can feel the pain, and I know what things I will do to reduce it. Thank you.
Thanks everyone. So the next question will be starting with Karina. How would you strengthen the mental health support that's available at Aston?
So supporting mental health will start with education, and I'll work with external companies like Birmingham Mind, for example, to educate other students on how to identify mental health issues and how to tackle them. Just sort of encouraging other students to learn a lot more about mental health and how to sort those, how to tackle those issues. The other thing I would like to implement would be wellbeing surveys. So having timely wellbeing surveys for all the students to understand the student perspective and identify the issues of mental health with the students on campus, and I will work to implement the student suggestions.
So with regards to mental health, there's the facilities that are already available for the students, and so I would work to collaborate with the relevant officers or with the relevant offices that are already there, and then we can introduce peer mentorship or peer mentorship programs and mental health awareness programs, and we can also incorporate mental health into the curriculum. We've got the consent process going on now, and so we can have that as well for mental health. And then there is the role that culture plays in mental health awareness as well. And so that is recognizing that as well, recognizing the role that religion plays as well, and working to ensure that all these needs are being met, all these different aspects of mental health are being addressed.
Thank you. Okay, if you talk about mental health, it starts from the starting, which is the point, as we know that from the class itself. Because when a student is studying in Aston, he will always think about studying and doing all the work he can do by the time he has given. So this all started from the classroom, so I will take care about that to reduce the struggle and to reduce the pressure which mostly students are facing. And also Faith has explained that if you talk about God and if you talk about religion, this thing helps matter. So of course I will take care about this thing, that each part of the people of this world will try to feel safe in terms of mental health in the SU. Thank you.
Next person is Kirsty.
So I think one of the main things to strengthen the mental health support, I know a lot of people say that something that would be really helpful would be expanding the mental health services that we have here, which unfortunately is not something that is realistic with the way the university works. So to take advantage of what is already available to us, work with teams like the mental health team, mentors and disability and academic support to put on workshops about what is talked about in those one-to-one sessions that students have, to get those key messages out to a wider range of students. I think also bringing in pause to offer drop-in sessions for those students who can't have that access to go out further from the university, and then also look at the key areas that cause mental health to decline and focus on proactively working to reduce the impacts of those, for example through surveys and such.
So the next question is going to start with Nathan answer. Question 3 is, how would you ensure all aspects of welfare and well-being are looked after, for example, physical, mental, sexual, etc.?
So again, there are departments that are related to this, and so the first thing will be to collaborate with them to find out what is there, what is working, and what needs to be changed. So we can do this, we can reach out to external partners as well. I am a crisis and disaster management student, and so twice the alarm has gone off in the main building, and students do evacuate the building, but they just kind of hover around. That is a risk on its own. And so we can collaborate with other teams, the safety on campus teams. We've got the Aston Crisis Center as well to be able to address issues like this. We can expand the radius on campus as well. It's an open plan campus, and so we can invest in self-defense classes, we can invest in trainings to ensure that everyone knows where it is they need to be, and that everyone knows how to keep themselves safe. We can develop a wellness app as well for students, and I think all this is going to be able to help us improve all aspects of our welfare.
This three thing, if you are talking about this three thing, it's the most important thing in the Aston, because this three thing justify ourselves, and I feel it there's a huge gap between student and Aston. Aston is there to do each and everything, but students don't know how to go and how to give the ideas and how to share their feelings towards it. So the first thing which I will do is to decrease the gap between student and Aston. And if we do this, of course, Aston will gonna focus all the issues what students are facing, and they will work on it. Thank you.
So I think to ensure all aspects of welfare and well-being are looked after, I think it's so important to take a holistic approach and understand that all of these areas of well-being are equally important. And from that, look at areas that overlap, so that different activities, events and programs that we put on can have the most positive impact on student well-being. I think it's also really important to make them accessible for commuter students, for disabled students, for international students, so that they can be the most effective. Some examples of this can be different kinds of activity physical activity sessions with Sport Aston, providing clear information about
access to healthcare, to provide physical well-being, finding out what students want in terms of improving their own mental health and what works well for them. And then finally, with sexual health, it would be about empowering students to have knowledge and confidence to make the best choices for themselves, their bodies and their relationships. Thank you.
So to ensure all aspects of welfare and well-being are looked after, I want to make sure that welfare support for all different aspects of the community is accessible. And I think one of the ways to do that is to understand that all of the aspects also integrate with each other. So for example, with physical and mental health, they tend to integrate a lot with each other. So I would like to implement things like free sports activities, free fitness sessions, self-defense sessions for safety, and social sessions with sports, collaborating with the other SABs and the clubs and societies, to improve students' physical health and give them a chance to de-stress. In terms of other aspects, there's also financial welfare, which right now is a really big issue for a lot of students. So trying to ease the financial crisis and make transport and food options more affordable for students, and collaborating with the university.
Everyone, we would like to take a question in the audience. Does anyone have any questions for the future EP welfare? If not, I will just go over what I have on my paper. Yes, okay. So the next question is, if you elected, what would be your next 3 priorities? That start with Alex.
If you think, if you ask about my 3 first step, which I'm gonna give, as you know that the point what I was focused on is to reduce the distance from student and Aston. This is what I will do to start a club where student can come and express their self, what the issues they have. Secondly, if you talk about the welfare, the word explain itself the good things which the student needs. So of course I will take a survey, and of course I will try to find all the things which student needs, and of course I will try to fulfill it. And secondly, if you talk about the mental health, I'm so sorry for that, I will try to focus to start a club where we only focus on the health issues. That's it. Thank you.
Yeah, so part of my manifesto, I have 5 key points that I'm going to work towards. So 3 of them are the overarching themes are safety and security, loneliness reduction, and inclusion and diversity. So for safety and security, I want to work towards introducing bystander awareness training, personal safety alarms, emergency homelessness parcels, and food parcels for students who don't have food security. For loneliness reduction, I want to introduce a Give It a Go program for students who don't have the time or money to be able to take part in clubs and societies long term. Introduce an international cafe, and introduce creative wellbeing sessions. And for inclusion and diversity, I would lobby for a low sensory space on campus, continue to advocate for LGBTQ+ rights, and what wellbeing looks like campaign with clubs and societies to share how different cultures, different groups all ensure their own wellbeing.
So as Vice President of Welfare, my first priority would be trying to understand the student needs first. And that's where the timely wellbeing surveys would come in, understanding what the students need, their perspective, how they think the welfare on campus would need to be improved. Another would be focusing on financial welfare, because like I said, there's a huge crisis with finances for students. Like one of the questions earlier was about students using accommodation. So focusing on things like that through affordable transport, cheaper meal options, everyday living essential packages for students, and supporting them through open pantries and clothing drives. Another would be physical and mental welfare. So like I said, the free activities, sports activities and self-defense sessions to help with safety as well.
So with regards to improving the welfare of students, when it comes to inclusion, diversity and inclusion, So as VP welfare, I would work towards the introduction of a cultural week, which is where we all come forward and we're able to celebrate the different cultures that are represented in the university. And then studies have proven actually that 1 in 10 people suffer from dyslexia, and so these are some of the hidden disabilities that some of us have no knowledge about. And so this is increasing knowledge about all these hidden disabilities, and then improving mental health and awareness, having campaigns towards promoting mental health and awareness, having trainings and recruitment of more officers, and offering this support in different ways. Because again, looking at culture and all these things and how they are able to affect our asking for help. So we look at that. Thank you.
So the final question that we have for the potential VP welfare next year is, what idea would you bring to further develop the welfare committees? Kirsty, first.
So to develop the welfare committee further than it already is, I think I would introduce a format similar to how the Student Activities Committee operates, so having specific roles that people can apply for and what they want to work on the most, so that specific campaigns and specific groups always have somebody there to represent them, to champion them and to progress them. Thank you.
So to improve the welfare committees, again, a similar thing, having specific roles for specific aspects of welfare. For example, having someone looking after financial welfare, someone looking after mental welfare, physical welfare, and the welfare committees aren't something that I know a lot about, but I'm always open to learning a lot more about them. And if I become the Vice President Welfare, I will make sure to educate myself on them a lot more, because it's a learning process.
So as VP welfare, with regards to improving the communities, so I work on proper coordination and proper communication, because communication is not really also just about what is out there, it's also finding out what needs to be done better, what needs to be improved. And so with this coordination, then we'll be able to work more effectively, more efficiently, and address the needs that the students have. Thank you.
To win the war, we need good warriors. So first of all, I will create a new team and good brains, because if I got a good brains team, then of course they will gonna help me to solve all the issues which we are facing in the SU and in the Aston. So the first thing which I will do is to just create a good team, which I feel that there is not a good team in SU. That's why.
Thank you everyone, and good luck to the rest of the week. And I now have the candidate for president, please.
Thank you, Laura. Can you please have all the candidates who are running for president role?
Yes. No, they answer me. The rest of the persons have been time. They're getting votes maybe. Oh, true. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm getting nervous. I don't like doing my own. Yep. Thank you so much for showing up, first of all. We'll start off on our questions, and as you know, you have 1 minute to answer your question. Try to be precise. And make sure that you are holding the mic at the right distance, not too far, not too close. Let's start. So, first question, maybe start from you. What makes you the best candidate for the role of president?
So, in case you don't know me, my name's Jude. I am running for president, obviously. I have worked with the SABs all year doing the chair role currently. So I feel that I've got the right experience working closely with these guys and see how they operate. Also, I work in the commercial department here as well, so I've got a lot of the a lot of knowledge about the dealings that happened here, some of the problems that we're facing. I think that I've got the most knowledge in that side of things, and yeah, I think that's kind of my best asset, is that I've been around everyone very closely. I've worked closely with the asset team as well, who are extremely important to the university, to the union. So I think, yeah, generally it's just the experience that I can bring. I think, not to toot my own horn, but I feel like I'm quite a good leader as well. So yeah, I think that's why I'd be the ideal candidate.
Thank you. Next in line is JC.
Hello, so for those that don't know me, I'm JC, Juan Carlos Garcia. So what I think makes me a good president is that I just listen to feedback throughout the year as BPSA. I've been listening to feedback, listen to what the students want, even outside of student activities related to things, to the point that I listen to any diverse group, any diverse question, to the point that, again, people have managed to confuse me with the president. And I think that's what makes me really just being out there for each other, the student needs, and basically I would like to redefine the president role the same way I've redefined BPSA.
Thank you, JC. Moving on to the Gaurav.
Yeah. Hi guys, I'm Gaurav. I'm running to be your next president at SU, and I'm studying Masters in Business Analytics. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. And I would like to define the definition of president. President is not just about knowing what people want. It's about taking brave decisions, I guess. Because all the vice presidents have been doing it, like interacting with people. We have clubs and societies which gets us the problems that people are facing. But it's only about taking decisions. And I believe I can take brave decisions. If you have a look at my manifesto, you will know what I'm referring to. And as a president, you need to be a lovable person. Like, people should feel like coming to you and talking to you. And I am a always smiling person. I'm always smiling, I'm welcoming, I'll talk to people. And I have so many friends because of that behavior. And I think these two capabilities of mine makes me a perfect suit for presidential role. Thank you.
Thank you, Lord. Next we have
Mohammed, yeah.
Yeah.
Hi guys. I think all of my friends told different aspects to being a best candidate for the role of presidency. But in my opinion, I think it's not possible to make everyone happy. And if I say that I'm going to make all the students in the Aston University to be happy and have a great life, it is impossible. But I think my passion and my attitude is to providing some features to have an impact on the students' life. So I try to do it, and I hope I can be do it in the best way. Thank you.
Brilliant answer, Mohammed. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Moving on to the next question, which will be answered by JC. Name one strategy that you would implement to develop the students' reading.
I believe I want a lot of strategies, but if I need to mention one, I believe, especially putting pressure in the university, to have automatic university membership, as in sponsor membership, of academic societies. In the end, with the Aston Students' Union of Aston University, and how is it the university is not directly sponsoring our students to support those academic societies? Why is there like a £2, £10 barrier to benefit those academic activities that the students want to pursue themselves? That's my main point. I think actions speak for themselves, as Gaurav said too. I'm the kind of person that takes actions. I can't take this alone. I will bring on board everyone I can, whether it's academic societies, the students themselves, student course reps, because that's another part that I really want to improve, the student rep system. Like, do you know who your school rep is? No? That's the answer. That's what I want to improve. Fix it.
Thank you, Jason. Gaurav, do you want me to repeat the question?
No. So I have a very broad perspective when it comes to Aston Students' Union. So there are two perspectives, first of all. There is students and there is a union. Union needs to be profitable in certain ways. And student needs to find the best finance to manage. Like, we have a merchandise where we sell different goods like hoodies and stuff. Right? But what do students actually want? Students want their daily essentials from the university. What if we have a platform from where we can provide them their daily essentials, which has a shelf life way longer, which will be efficient for the university as well, like the union as well, and for students as well. And secondly, as my friend Alexander mentioned about internships and job opportunities. That's what even I was reading through. What if we have a team which has ties with firms like there are multiple firms who provide part-time job opportunities, and then we'll be providing our students with the job opportunities. And I am already talking with my friends who are working already, so I'll get it on board. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Gaurav. Moving on to Mohammed.
Yeah, actually that's a great question, but at the moment I can say that because it needs more planning and it's not easy to say just name a strategy. But I guess basically we can, in my opinion, based on my experience and education, I can say that if we can use data and be in the data orientation in the student union and try to find some gaps and be specifically use some details about the student's life and other aspects that this business needs to be improvement and development, it can be really helpful. So.
Thank you. Jude.
Yeah, so I think in terms of strategies, I think I wanted to focus lots on events. I think that the current events that we do host at the union have been very good this year. I think it's a massive improvement on what I saw in my first year at the university. But I think I'm looking at this as it's my placement year next year. I want to come back in final year, and there's loads of events that cater for a massive range of students, not just our incredibly engaged students who we have in the room today. I want to engage many more. I think this will do a couple of things. This will enhance the power of our societies. It will help them. Hopefully I'll be working with my VPSA, who will hopefully be Ash next year. I'll work closely with the VPSA to organise these events and hopefully make this so it's an extra stream of revenue for our clubs and societies. But in general, I want more people in this building. I want more people engaged with us, and I think that is the best strategy for us next year.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Moving on to the next question. I'm loving this, because last 2 years I was asking those questions. I'm doing it. I can do this for the whole day. So let's move on. Gaurav,
Yeah.
what makes you a good leader?
See, my nature of talking to people, making friends. Everyone in this room is my friend. I have zero interest because I am not dealing with anyone. I love everyone. And then, feeling inclusive in everything, taking brave decisions. Whenever it comes to certain things, like my people are struggling with something, I'll always stand there for them. No matter what the limits are, I'll push my limits, but I'll be there for them. And same way, I'll stand up for all the Ashton students. Now they are my friends as well. So it will be my responsibility to take over whatever problems they have. I'll be solving it all over the year if I win. And guys, I want you to vote for me, so that only then I will be winning. Thank you.
Thank you, Gaurav. Mohammed, what makes you a good leader?
Well, you shouldn't ask me about how it makes me a good leader. You should ask my friends. But in my opinion, the things that help me to be good at leadership is that I'm welcome to new ideas, and if it is opposite of my idea, I welcome it. So as a good leader, you should be open, welcome to other ideas, and at least you should be a good listener. So I am.
Thank you. Next person, Jude. What makes you a good leader, Jude?
I think my experience as a leader is something that it's kind of sets me apart. So I work in the lounge of Aston Students Union, and within the first year and a half, I'd say, I got made team leader, which has been a great experience for me. Working so closely with my friends, but also being able to lead shifts has been very good. The events that we've had here as well, leading asset team to do the incredible things that we have done so far this year. So that's definitely part of it, but also I think I bring some good vibes. I think some of my friends would agree. I think it's a hard question to answer whether you're a good leader, but yeah, no, definitely. I think I've got the leadership qualities that I need to show, and I think working closely with these guys this year has shown me that I can actually do that. So yeah, I think that's what would make me a good leader.
Thank you. Jason, what makes you a good leader?
Well, again, I have already been BPSA, leading clubs and societies, but that is important for me. The objective is to lead with this man, Tahir, and make every other vice president lead with me. Again, this is the point. My core values, my objectives remain the same. Everything remains the same. Again, I just don't want the reason I'm not going for BPSA is I wanted to just lead in another position. I wanted to let the new BPSA lead the new teams, guide them, be a mentor. I can be a leader for the rest so they can lead others. That's my first objective and final objective.
Thank you, Jesse. I want to give an opportunity to the audience if they have any specific burning questions they want to ask. Sana?
So how would you go about creating a good relationship between the SU and the university? For example, Atul had a valuable connection with Alex the Vice Chancellor, which benefited us. So how would you go about this?
Thanks, Sana. Who will answer first?
I've already spent a lot of time with Alex, and it's been all good experience so far. I think I've got a good knowledge so far of what the university want from us, I think, and what we want from the university. I think there's definitely more stuff that they could do for us. So it would be trying to kind of navigate these relations like in a good way, make sure that we're acting in each other's best interests. I think a testament to this is Astonbury, which is something that's run by us and the university. So I think, furthering that relationship will be positive, but also I think I don't want to be too careful. I think there's more that the university can offer us in terms of information that they provide us, and that's something that I've faced in my role as chair so far. I think it's going about everything in a good way, but also I think we're in our right to demand a bit more as well. So yeah, I think that would be my strategy.
Thank you. Jesse.
Hello. So yeah, BPSA again is always the student voice, but I've been sort of the activist in the SAPS team this year. They all agree. I think the students have the power. I think we have the power to demand. Whether we are seen as the events delivery of the university, I don't see any events being delivered by them. I think we can just ask them to what we want. If you read my manifestos, I ask for support, visibility and sponsorship, funding. Same thing with academic societies, as I previously mentioned. I think we should ask more about it. Yes, we still have a good relationship. I have a good relationship with the executives, but I do believe that in terms of events, activities, we are the front side of the university and they don't have them. So to keep pushing that way, again, we have the student power because they provide the service. So we need to demand more. It's as simple as that.
Very simple, can we just next?
Yeah. So the way we could do is the winning candidates going and having regular sessions with the course representatives or maybe the senior authorities of the university and discussing the needs maybe for the SU or for the students, because SU is the gap, the bridge between students and university. That's the main point. And students will come to us to solve their problems, getting the problems to us, and then it's our responsibility how the way we convert it to the solution, So only discussion is the solution to it, I guess.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry, can you repeat your question, Phil? Again.
Yeah, how would you go about creating a good relationship between the SU and the university?
Well, in my perspective, I guess, as my friend said, that a student union is like a bridge between the university and the students. So the lack of communications here, it can be makes many problems here, that maybe university cannot understand that what really students needed. So I guess, I don't know previously how does it work, how was the communication between SU and university. I guess it was good because we see a lot of achievements that the committee did during last year. But I'm going to provide some, some opening sessions between the university and students also, and try to accelerate this communication and try to help solving these gaps. I guess. Thank you.
Does this answer your question, sir? Thank you. Hello, you had your hand.
We talk about good relationship. I would want to ask how you can make sure that you hold university accountable at the same time.
Just to, this was a question on this. I'll just rephrase it so that I don't have to read it again. If you disagree with the university stance on an issue, how will you share with them and help them to account? I would say.
Sorry. Mohammed?
Go.
Yeah. So, as the question, that's a really nice question because we need to be ready for that as well. Because there will be circumstances where the SU and the university may not come at a conclusion. So, I think students is the topmost priority because universities can't run without students, obviously, and even students' union cannot run without students. So students should be our topmost priority, and if the demand is valid, then we need to push our limits in order to reach that. And I guess all the VPs, all the presidents, all the committee members will be happy doing it, and even the university won't be unhappy with it because obviously students are the topmost priority. They are coming here. All the international students, even international students have so many demands, because we are leaving our nation, we are coming to a different place and then finding a new home. So there are demands, we need to push our limits in order to satisfy them. Thank you.
Thank you, Gaurav. Mohammed?
I need more time to think.
Fine, completely okay.
Cheers.
Cheers. And you'll be ready.
No, first.
I think I think I'm in a good position to talk about this. I study politics, and I think diplomacy is something that is key in any relationship such as this one. I think doing everything in a diplomatic way, making sure our interests are well represented first of all. But I think if the university aren't acting in our best interests, that's also affecting the students. So I think taking a very serious approach to this is what I'd like to do, but also doing it in a way which can benefit both sides, coming to compromises, but I don't think that I'd ever let the interests of the students go unnoticed, I think. But the main thing for me would be to do everything in a diplomatic way, make sure that every option is kind of looked at to make sure that both our interests and the universities are being taken care of, but most of all as the students, of course.
Thank you. Yes.
Hello. In terms of accountability, again, I'm always the one in the team taking account of the university. Just recently, I don't know if you know it, the swimming pool has been shut down, the one in the sports center. Again, this is happening during term time. It's crazy. The sports center didn't know. The university told them recently. We've got a swimming and water polo team that obviously is not able to train. How could this happen without communication? Like, I'm not saying call them accountable, but there definitely needs to be a communication of plans of closing something like the swimming pool. I'm just giving this example because it's recent. But again, right now, everyone in the university that usually wants to access the swimming pool cannot access it. Neither the sauna or the other area, I forgot what it's called. But the point is, how could this happen during term time? Especially for well-being, many sports people like the swimming as a well-being thing. That's crazy. How could this not happen over summer? Things like this is what I deal with every day. I would like to deal with bigger things as president.
Thank you. Please correct me. The question was that if something happened as an issue in the university, how a student union can solve it, yes? Okay.
And if you need to disagree with the university, how will you hold them to account?
Could you repeat it? Sorry.
If you need to disagree with the university on some topic, how will you hold them accountable?
So, I guess as I have experience in the sales, always you should have negotiation, and every time you find a conflict, no matter where is it and what is it, you should negotiate it. So, of course, university and student union both has have different structure maybe and different business goals and targets. But we are going to solve an issue which can help a student's life, and it's related to the students. So it depends on the how is this issue and what is it. If you can find, we are going to find a solution that is win-win and win for university, a student union, and students too.
Thank you, Mohammed.
Cheers.
Great sales skills. I'll answer that last question, and this is a question of mine. What are you, in very short and brief way, not going on beating the bush, without writing on it. In a very short and brief way, what are your top 3 changes and priorities that you will do to this organization which will positively impact the students? Start from home.
I need to think. I'm old man.
Anybody who is ready for this question?
Yeah, go for it. I'll take it, I guess. So the first thing on my manifesto was an improved travel subsidy to support our community students. I think that's very important. Something that we've already done so well so far, but I think it needs to be pushed a little bit further. I know a lot of my friends who are community students hadn't really heard of it, so pushing that a bit further. More events, as I mentioned earlier, would be really positive. It gives the asset team an opportunity to run those even further as well. And then also more funding for the university is going to be, for the union is going to be extremely important. Whether that's through our own streams of revenue or outside sources, I think it's really important that we start to actually make some money that we can pump back into the student activity side of things. And yeah, so that would be my top three priorities.
Thank you. It sounds like a good vision. That's great. Thanks so much. Jesse.
Hello. Again, 3 points is not enough, but just a quick examples. As clubs, they're right now suffering. They don't have money. I've had to make tough decisions recently. I don't want to take those anymore. So we need to support them with funding, visibility, sponsorship, anything that's needed. That's my first point. Second, again, as I said, the academic sponsorship of the university on the academic societies, that's a main thing. Like there shouldn't be any barriers. They should be covering events for them. They should be covering forums, lectures. And for third point, again, is changing your role. Again, making it active, approachable. I think I'm quite an approachable person. Right now, I don't know why I'm quite serious, guys. Some of they talk in a light way. But this person, no, I'm not done. I'm not sure. Give me. It's celebrations. Again, we're going to say the same thing, but my main job has been promoting parties to celebrations, going hard out there. You see me. Before I came here, I can tell you outside SU, there used to be no events. Everybody told me, oh my God, 3rd year, 2nd years, people coming back from placement. That's crazy, JC. We've never seen things outside. I want to keep those going.
Thank you. Go.
Yeah. So as I said, I'll be establishing a daily essential store for students. It sounds difficult, but it isn't, because we are a great team. We are Aston. Okay. And then the second thing we'll do is the internship thing, getting part-time opportunities and internship opportunities. And the third thing, it's adding tea to the bar menu. See, it sounds stupid, but from the business perspective, it's worth. People will join us. There are so many tea lovers. They'll come in. They'll have something or the other from the SU as well. So it will bring profitability to the SU. And after that, we can fund clubs and societies. So we need to tick all the boxes for that. It's not just one perspective. So adding tea is also a reason. You know, it's not just another reason to add tea. It's like getting profitability to the SU and then funding student activities. And also, no, that's the last one.
Well, I guess 3 points is, if I want to say and address these 3 points, is that based on my motto, which is empower, innovate, and connect. I will be provide some changes internally and externally, which is I try to change some operation systems here to accelerate the procedures to do everything, and also going to by some innovations and innovative ways to provide monetizing for the student union, because our vice presidents need to have planning big events and other stuff and features for the students. So if we can do it, I forgot to say the third point, but yeah, these things. Thank you.
Thank you,
Robert. You have a question?
Or can I counter 1 point, or is that not allowed?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'll take one more question from the audience. Tom.
In talking about holding university accountable and ways like that, the university's complaint procedure right now is 20 working days from point of incident or outcome of informal of the incident. Do you see a way of formalising SU complaints to the university? Because right now that is, from what I can see, purely informal, you reaching out, emailing. Could there be a way of formalising quick turnaround, like the SU takes points on student complaints? Because right now it's students kind of going at it alone whenever they do a complaint against the university. What could the SU do more to support those individual complaints as like a whole, like and have a stance on it, if that makes sense?
Basically streamline the student complaint system through student union.
With support added from the student union, if that makes sense, yeah.
Who's gonna answer the question first? Jude?
Yeah, so this is a problem that we've faced this year, Tom. Obviously, in my role as chair, this has been quite evident that there's not much of a formal way to show our complaint system to the university. So that's something that we should definitely explore 100% next year. I think we should look at strengthening our democracy as a student union first of all. Something that I've been working on this year is improving union council. The last one went very well. I think if we can strengthen that further, that gives us more of a platform to kind of suggest our issues with the university, for students to come to us with their issues that they've got with the university, and it's a platform for us to make these complaints official. So I think furthering our democracy would be a good way to do that, strengthening our union council. Hopefully I'll be working with you next year, Tom, if you get your position as chair, and we could do that together, so yeah.
Thank you. JC?
Hello. Again, as I said at the start, feedback is my most important part. I don't know if you see it, but clubs and societies are with me, random students are with me, any engaging student is with me, and those feedbacks, the same way I've been promoted celebrations, parties this year, just because of the role I had, because I couldn't go out of the ring, borders, whatever you want to call it, I will do the same thing for this. If you want me to be out there with the whole team, claiming about any issues that we have, whether it's brought in union council or by student groups, that's how we tackle it. Again, I keep sounding like an activist, but this is the way to do it. We've seen it. Visibility matters to the university, and this is the action we need to take.
Thank you, JC. Go.
So the first thing, I'd like to fast forward the SU's response time, and after that, as a president, as I said, I'll be pushing forward my limits to reach out to the university, because these are my people now. And then there are instances where the university has responded quickly with me as well. I have faced many problems, but they have been quick in responding to me. But if there are bigger problems, maybe we can find out a different solution, like having a different email ID for the SU and a different email ID for the university. So that will be the SOS kind of thing. So if there is an emergency for any student, the SU can interrupt and then directly mail a university, and then it will be solved immediately as soon as possible.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was a really interesting question, because in my opinion we need a paradigm shift in all the aspects, not just this point. But if I want to address your question, I think providing some surveys, organizing meetings and direct meetings to the administration, and who can solve these complaints and who are the charge of this. It can be accelerate these procedures, and I guess at the end can provide better results for the all. Thank you.
Thank you. With this, I think we put end to the Q&A session for the business. All of you, really good answers. Thanks so much for joining us. And we wish you all the best. And everybody who has attended, please do vote. Tell your friends to vote. There are massive prizes as well for the candidates that you like. All the best, everybody.